Okay, so we were... Oh, actually, no, before we go anywhere, we might as well do this. Let's give her a little bit of health, seeing as death seems to be a serious issue that I've been dealing with lately. Okay. So we got clear mind. Can I not get this? 6 talent points, and I've only got 5. So repelling wave knocks people back, fluid body, deflections, purifying waters, removing all hostile effects, damage based on staves. Let's give her a bonus to staves, seeing as they don't seem to cast nearly as much. Also, question, do we... Lower skill 78, I was hoping we get a little bit more for that. And the answer is no. Is your wrist hurting?
No.
Okay.
I'm just inspecting it.
Okay, well, to Tunon's court. Oh, interesting.
We have to go all the way around.
Well, it's fine.
I think we should still put Verse and Iron Dude back together again.
Yeah, we should. I'll probably get rid of Ebb after this,
Well,
depending
why
on what
didn't
we
you
do.
do that while we still had the chance? Or we didn't have the chance?
We had the chance, I just totally forgot. Want me to reload and do that? Let's do that. Load game. Let's go back to the spire. This won't take too long. Ooh, pretty. I think we already saw this one.
We've seen
but still.
it. It's always like the spire.
Yeah, but it still
loaded.
looks nice.
Because they have the mystic runes and other things.
Yep.
What? Was there someone calling?
No, I just have been getting a lot of emails lately. As we're getting closer to
Christmas.
kind of the... It's like the first 2 weeks of December.
Also, you never put out the Loot Crate video.
It's going up.
It is going up.
It's queued for tomorrow morning.
Okay, good.
Yep. Tomorrow at noon.
What, were we all right?
Yeah, we're fine. Fine enough. We sounded okay. Alright, so this time we are going to warp to
Well-
Mountain Spire. Zoop. Loading screen again. Yay. Yeah, so I've been getting a lot of emails from developers offering me games.
Yeah.
But I haven't exactly been able to keep up with them. You know, there's just always too many things to do. Yeah, so there's Verse.
And Siren, yeah.
Reverse. Swordbreaker. I'm probably going to talk to Swordbreaker and see if I can level up. Okay.
Okay, so our gang is building quite a little collection of spires, aren't we? The Voices of Narat has never won for keeping strongholds, but I can definitely see the appeal.
Why isn't the Voices like strongholds?
Because there's no point in standing still. The Voices prefers to keep his forces busy and on the move, with only the restful hours between dusk and dawn. Besides, fighters in motion are less likely to rise up and challenge authority. Safety in numbers, but once you get people hunkering down to discuss their problems, suddenly everyone has a reason to kill the closest gang boss.
What do you think of these spires?
They're big, but make no mistake, a determined army could knock one down if they got enough shovels and picks together. Don't be so quick to assume that you're invincible. Okay. As to what they are, I try not to ask those sorts of questions. What do you
Questions for
need?
you. Okay.
Okay.
We'll talk later. How do we do party management? Is it this? No, that's select all party members.
Oh, wait, did that bring up dice options?
Oh, did we not? Oh,
Yeah.
shoot, we never actually saved her perks. Okay. So we got this. Yeah, how do we do party management? Oh, dismiss companions. War camp or spire.
Return
If
to
you've
either.
unlocked it. Characters. No. Talents, spells, combo abilities, stances, weapon sets.
Man, this is really bad UI if they can't.
Oh, interesting.
You can change their armor colors.
That's neat. Oh, that's our story so far. Spire upgrades. Nothing here, is it? No. What? Okay.
Huh?
Oh. A new bar on your character sheet displays your current level of power. See to open your character sheet and see your current level of power. Companion combos improved. Siren's song.
Siren will begin singing one of her songs. Each of her songs is a series of stanzas that produces different effects. As one stanza ends, the effects will linger, overlapping with the effects of the next stanza. You can change Siren's current song by selecting her and choosing her song from her song interface.
I remember that. They had that previously. Okay, so seriously, how do we get... Okay, maybe we talk to her again.
At your service, Fatebinder. What do you need?
Ah, I find myself in
That
need of
seems to
an
be
accomplished killer. Okay, goodbye, Eb. Hello, Verse.
And so you're going
There
to
we
have
go.
that?
And she seems to have gained experience while she was gone. Good. Okay, I'm still curious why her dodge and parry are a negative. Oh, maybe it's because she's dual wielding. I don't know. Anyway, let's give her some extra health for the time being.
You're always going for health.
It's because she keeps dying.
Well, then up their ability to dodge and defend.
I've sort of been working on it. Okay, we do need to get her some better equipment. Did we get any? We got these. Yes. Okay. What about weapons? We have a bronze dagger, which is better than the twisted iron sword. And bronze shotel, which is...
You can give her a better bow, but...
I can give her a better bow. Though I have not been pursuing that. Okay. Well, that's good enough for the time being, so let's keep going. Can I...
And you really didn't want to use Siren at all?
Actually,
And you like having
anything.
Lantry around?
We want to do this. Yeah, I like having Lantry because he's the only healer. All right, and now I've reorganized the party so we don't, so we have the melee people in front. That's been kind of an issue for me for a while. But yeah, I like Lantry. Eb and Siren, Eb is kind of what my character is, you know, a caster damage dealer.
Frost Mage, yeah.
And Siren is a support character, which I wouldn't mind, but we're getting messed up mainly because of melee enemies.
Melee
breaking
enemies
our
getting
line.
to the...
Because my character is definitely a pretty heavy hitter. The Verse is a good secondary tank to work with, and we can upgrade her with a lot of equipment that my character would normally take. Well, wouldn't take, you know, because Barrack doesn't need armor and most weapons. Oh, hey. Lantry. Also, I just like what Lantry has to say because he seems like he actually kind of knows things.
So, your latest acquisition has me thinking about the spires some more. By all accounts, they go as far back as the old walls. Over the centuries, the nobles of the tiers have claimed the spires, but they've only ever battled over the land at the ground level of the monuments. I've never seen the glyphs of a spire light up in all my years. Not until you show up. If this were an isolated incident, I'd be confused. But it seems the spires, plural, are somehow connected to you. What's your secret?
I think I'm going to go with number 2.
No. Let me listen to this.
So it's a surprise to me as well. I've studied Tunon's feat, proclaimed edicts, broken them too. I'm sure I've been exposed to all sorts of arcane powers, or perhaps Tunon or one of the other archons did something to me. I'm leaning for number 2 because that's actually true.
That sounds a little prideful. I mean, you could say that you're surprised as well, but
Yeah, okay, fine. It's a surprise to me as well. A long sigh escapes Lantry, and he sticks his quill in his mouth, chewing on the tip. His head tilts to one side or another, muttering incoherent half words.
it's probably incoherent.
Yeah.
But a different spelling, maybe a different way of saying it.
Okay, I always want to know what you're thinking.
If I had the words for it, I'd share. I'm just not sure what to make of it. I'm realizing how much more there is to learn.
Have a moment, let's talk further. Current matters.
Of course. How can I help?
None of these.
Yeah.
Like, they're interesting, but I want to find out about this.
Can you talk to all the nobles? They all have convo options.
Do they? No.
Be polite to the adjudicator. Yesterday, he sentenced a man to be...
Flayed in the city square.
Okay.
Family resisted the coming of Kairos. Now that we know better, offer my life to the adjudicator. Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah, but I like the lore that we're getting from them. There's too many of them.
I've never seen Tunon touch the ground. I wonder if he sleeps. Where he sleeps, if he sleeps. Pledge fealty to Tunon, accept me as a daughter of the Fatebinder. My daughter is a Fatebinder. Just because I can't find any contradictions in Kairos' law doesn't mean they don't exist. Kairos' peace is kind of those who bend the knee.
Okay.
I used to think that counting the rings was more useful than learning to read. These days I wonder. Okay.
Lady Lucretius.
Yes, she sounds interesting.
Lady Lucretius is a well-dressed older woman that stands apart from the milling crowds of nobles. She stares off into the distance, oblivious to your approach until you're right in front of her. Oh, greetings. She offers a reserved smile. Anda Lucretius, formerly of Thistleholm. You have the look of someone who belongs here. A Fatebinder, no doubt. She nods. Do you need something from me?
Let's see. What are all these nobles doing in Tunon's court?
She smirks and shakes her head. Trying to look brave, I warrant. But if you crane an ear in any of their conversations, you'll hear a different tale. 3 years since Tunon set shop in the Bastard City. We're still getting used to our new masters, and figuring out what we can and can't ask of them. Oh, interesting. She nods to the assembled nobles. These are smart, ring-plenty folk. The way they approach Tunon, you think that we were raising under... sorry, I'm getting all mixed up and floundering because of all these white words on black letters. Okay. The way they approach Tunon, you'd think they were raised under a tyrant's lash. Some have come to settle a grievance, others to pledge fealty. I've been standing around long enough to know that the adjudicator doesn't care for empty gestures.
Let's see. Well, she's just kind of lore stuff. I guess, how's the Bastard City fared since the conquest?
Kairos' forces took the city as we expected them to, without mercy or restraint. The Scarlet Chorus spilled more blood than we had to give. The disfavored took their share of slaves after the gates of judgment. It was a dark day when we watched our countrymen hauling supplies for the Overlord. We've suffered our share of hardships, but it seems that Kairos wants us alive. That's a more generous outcome than some of us were led to believe.
What brings a noble like yourself to Tunon's court?
A frown cracks her pleasant demeanor. Like the rest of frightened inbreds here, I came to see Tunon and ask him to right a wrong. My manor was destroyed during the conquest. I told the adjudicator my woes, but we didn't exactly see eye to eye.
What is Thistleholm?
A great sigh deflates her. It was my family's ancestral hall. The oldest stones dated back to the years when the Bastard City was naught but a dozen roofs and wagons clustered for warmth. Compared to the houses of the great lords, it was nothing special. Age had softened the wood, and its queer placement in the warehouse district set it apart from the finer grounds where lords and ladies strolled for amusement. It was a mess, but our mess all the same. I would invite you over for tea, something stronger even, but it would only disappoint. You'll find naught there but a gaping hole.
Your home was in the warehouse district?
You must understand that Thistleholm predated the city districts. My grandmother was also a persistent woman. Merchants storing salted cod and lamprey eggs on the adjoining grounds were no cause for her to budge from her spot.
What happened?
Collateral damage happened. When the adjudicator cast his judgment on the Bastard City, he destroyed the districts of the corrupt merchant kings, their manors, their counting houses, and yes, their warehouses. Age, dignified Thistleholm collapsed as a massive sinkhole opened up under her foundation. The Bastard City's laws may not have been perfect by Kairos' standards, but my family followed them with respect and never took a copper ring more than we deserved. I can't help but feel that my estate was not the criminal Tunon had in mind during his sentencing.
So what are you going to do next?
That's the question, isn't it? I appealed to the adjudicator, thinking he would see reason. After considering my case for all 8 seconds, he awarded me a belt of rings and a plot of land on the outskirts of the city. Tunon told me to build anew and start farming. Farming? Can you believe that? She shakes her head. It's not even that I'm supposed to be the labor, but we're in a war. I can't have the Scarlet Chorus breathing down my neck, raiding my crops, and Kairos knows what else.
Let's see, I'm leaning for number 2. Kairos' laws are made to serve the masses, not the individual.
Let me look at these.
Okay.
So you can talk against the chorus, stop whining and take your rings, or...
1 or 2 seems more appropriate.
Yeah, I suppose 2.
Let's do 2. So Kairos' laws are made to serve the masses, not the individual.
I can appreciate that. Oh, you've gained favor with Tunon, apparently.
Yep.
I can appreciate that, especially when there's suffering or corruption on a grand scale. It all makes sense on parchment, doesn't it? She glances to the left and right with unease. I come from a long line of smart, ring-savvy merchants, but even I can reconcile Tunon's justice with Kairos' law. There's something wrong about it all. Maybe Tunon knows something I don't. Or maybe, she trails off, shaking her head in doubt.
What do you mean?
People come here for justice. They usually get a version of it, but it's Tunon's version, not theirs. Half of the time, they don't even get what they wanted out of a ruling in their favor. She shakes her head. The deed to a farm, for instance. Not to put my own ignorance on display, but if more people knew how Kairos' law worked, they might not come here seeking a ruling at all, even a fair one. Tunon is a servant of law, but he's the Overlord's vassal as much as any of us. Sometimes it seems like he uses his position to twist everything in the Empire's favor. We're just pieces on a board, and he can move us wherever the law justifies that we stand. That doesn't sound, well, legal.
I don't like her.
But you have to admit, he blew up her old home and then asked her to make a farm. That's sort of sad.
True. Though I'm not entirely sure if she's being truthful with that. She's like, I wasn't one of the merchant kings.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can only endeavor to bring true justice to the tears, or Tunon's isn't the one to change his mind, unfair as it might seem the ruling stands?
Yeah, let's do that. Tunon isn't one to change his mind, unfair as it might seem. The ruling stands.
I had no thought to dispute the ruling, but I appreciate the kindness of your tone all the same. It's an uncommon thing to find in the bastard city these days. What was the plus or minus you got?
More Tunon.
Farewell, Fatebinder. Be well. I had a drink there, because speaking in a slightly gravelly old lady voice is tiring.
Oh, boy. Hey, there's Rogueless.
Seveus, Aurora, Albitronus. Oh, Mocking Blaze, Blood Mulch. So we have some disfavored and some
yeah, so we've got 2 choruses, 3. We remember Seveus.
There's Fatebinder Rogueless.
Yeah, there's Rogueless, who's the guy that sent us the...
Nunoval.
Yeah. And then Tunon himself floating up here.
With the mask.
Holy shit, his stats are high.
Wait, you can see his stats?
Yeah.
What about your fellow Fatebinders?
Much lower. These guys are weak. Like, in fact, everybody here could kick these guys' ass. Alright, well, let's go join the mess.
You call yourselves officers of Kairos' army, but your conduct falls short of my expectations. The court finds your accounts of Vendrian's well lacking, rife with misdirection and fallacy, fouled with baseless accusation.
The shadows beneath Tunon's cloak darken and flare around him. Murmurs of unease erupt in the court. Do we want to say...
Listen.
Let's listen. Woman.
It is a woman. Albatronus. Your Honor, I have relayed the events as I experienced them. You can well imagine why my version conflicts with his. She makes a dismissive gesture to the Scarlet Chorus representative. On my honor, and on the honor of the great general, I would sooner snap my sword than perjure myself before you, Archon.
Oh, so you simply imply that falsehood comes easier to my lips than yours. You're a fool if you believe that the Archon of Justice won't see through your lies, because the disfavored think themselves better than an honest gang.
Silence. The contradictions in your statements will be examined, and falsities threshed from truths. If we find you have perjured yourselves, Bleden Mark will see to your fate.
Ooh, what's Bleden Mark?
Bleden Mark. Bleden Mark is Kairos' knife in the shadows. The unseen drop of poison that enforces the Overlord's will. He reports to Tunon the Adjudicator, serving in his capacity as the final word to those who hold Kairos' law in contempt. If you know the origin of the Archon of Shadows, or how Kairos maintains a hold on him, those who anger the Archon never live long past sunset.
So he's an assassin.
Yep. So the Archon turns, and you feel his gaze upon you.
Fatebinder, we will start with the matter of the Archons. Graven Ash and the Voices of Nerat have declared war upon each other. In addition to violating Kairos' peace, they have thrown the conquest of the Tears into disarray. By all accounts, these hostilities began shortly after your arrival. Tell us what transpired.
Let's see.
Okay, so the Archons could not agree on who should lead the siege and descended into accusations of treachery. It seemed a mutual spat, or the Archons have been of different minds since the start of this war.
I'm leaning for number 1. I'm not even touching number 3.
Yeah, of course not.
Okay, so the Archons could not agree on who should lead the siege and descended into accusations of treachery. It seemed a mutual spat.
The disfavored were more deserving of the honor. Our tactics and training outmatched the Vendrian Guard at every turn.
What balderdash! The disfavored couldn't tip over a straw hut if they had a week to strategize. Our howling mob was better equipped to overwhelm the Vendrian Guard. Our recruits were ready to throw themselves at the enemy, if only Ash and his legion would agree to a plan.
The Fatebinder presents testimony. I warn you both against speaking out of turn. Something more than a mere disagreement unraveled this campaign. But I will return to that in time. Let us speak of Ascension Hall. The disfavored sing your praises across the realm, though the Scarlet Chorus appeal for charges of treason. Perhaps you can offer a more enlightened account.
I claimed the Citadel with a small unit of disfavored.
An efficient solution, the type I would expect from a capable agent. Tell me though, with the edict looming overhead and death the price of failure, why not employ the numerical advantage of the Scarlet Chorus?
Number 1?
Let me look. The Voice of Nerat provoked Ash every turn. I suspected treachery, or the siege called for tactics and planning, not numbers.
I mean, I kind of want number 3, which is, Scarlet Chorus tried to attack me. But yeah, the Voices of Nerat provoked Ash at every turn. I suspected treachery. For a long while, the Adjudicator hovers in silence, shadows trailing from below his robes.
I will consider this testimony at length. The court thanks you for it. Is there anything you wish to add at this time?
I've told you all that I know.
Your testimony is accepted by the court. The statements of our guests raise questions in my mind. There is much about this campaign that has caused me to wonder. A shipment of iron weapons was short on arrival. Where coveted iron is concerned, I don't believe it to be a clerical error. One of my agents recovered this seal in Echo Call. It belongs to a merchant collective. Lethian's Crossing is teeming with their kind. If you would root out treachery, I would advise starting there. Petitioners, leave us. I would have a private audience with the Fatebinder. Ascend and join me. You will find the way opened.
Can you talk to your fellow Fatebinders?
Sure. Fatebinder, you return. Rogulis looks you up and down with an inscrutable expression. You look as if you have questions for me to untangle. Ask. I am feeling generous. Let's see. Can you tell me about the old walls in the Bane? With which should I start? Old walls. We know little about the ancient structures, save that they predate all historical record. The forbidding runes crisscross the tiers and north alike, centuries before we raised our cities. The only one old enough to guess is likely Kairos. Tell me about the Bane. The Bane are found in the old walls, but much of their defining qualities still escape me. They are creatures of smoke and claw and fang. If you ever find yourself unfortunate enough to fight one, remember that spells are effective against them, but grab the attention of others lurking near. Discuss something else. Honestly, I don't want to talk to him.
Okay. What about the other ones? So this is Fatebinder Callio. Is it a woman or a man?
I think it's a man. Dude, let's see. No, it's a she.
Okay. Dude, I see you've returned to the fold. Your exploits in Vendrian's Well are a matter of some discussion. The Fatebinder of Balance regards you with a discerning eye, and for a moment you feel as if she is trying to peer into the very depths of your mind. What can I do for you? Callio touches a gentle hand to your shoulder.
Has anything happened while I was away?
Nunaval was dispatched to Stalwart to break the stalemate between the locals and the disfavored. He proclaimed Kairos' Edict of Storms, shattering the country with winds unending.
You seem to know much of my actions. Have you been spying on me?
Oh, don't act so surprised. It's my duty to ensure that those who operate under the Adjudicator's name adhere to the spirit of his law, if not to the very letter.
Of course. I have nothing to hide.
So you say, but I have to weigh all the evidence presented before me with an objective eye. Assume you're being watched, Fatebinder, but don't concern yourself. That's no more than any citizen of the Empire can expect.
Let's see. Nope. And then last guy. Oh. Ah, dude, you return, unscathed and more acclaimed than ever. As seems to be your way. The Fatebinder of War claps you good-naturedly, with excessive strength on the back. Come, you must regale me with all that your journey has held. I could use a moment of respite between friends. He regards you with a warm, boisterous smile. Word has reached me regarding your negotiation tactics at Apex. I must admit, I'm impressed that you made any headway with the southern wretches. If they are open to reason, it would seem they aren't as ignorant as the Archon of War would have us believe. Come, let us speak freely. Let's see. Curious about Tunon's masks. They can be rather unsettling, can't they? Even to one such as me, but I can assure you the innocent need not fear their objective. Objective, motionless gaze. Let's see. What of the masks would you like to know? That's interesting.
Oh, the silent face, the face of resolve, the face that
let's
is
start
no
with
more.
them, even though we haven't seen them yet. Silent face. The silent face is the face that Tunon shows to us now, and for that we are fortunate beyond belief. The silent face is a patient face, a face for listening, as Tunon presides over all matters brought to the court, taking great pains to ensure all sides of an issue are heard. Face of resolve. Tunon's last known donning of the face of resolve was the moment he judged and called ruin to half the districts of the bastard city. Since then, he has ruled our northern tier justly, calmly, with efficient diplomacy. I want to know about the face that is no more. Tunon is said to have worn a third mask in aeons past. I have heard rumor that the face displeased Kairos and was thus destroyed, as happens to all personas and objects that displays our Overlord.
Kairos didn't like it?
I guess so. Have you ever seen him change his masks? In the way that you or I would change our raiment? No, not as such. And yet I've seen the masks shift. They switch without the Adjudicator or anyone else so much as laying a hand on them. It's not something you can watch unfold. After a matter of time, you merely realize it has already happened. Okay, something else.
History of the Fatebinders.
Okay, fine. Could you remind me of the history and origin of the Fatebinders? The seasoned warrior rubs a finger against the line of stubble along his cheek. We are a relatively young order, though we have spanned these past 2 centuries. While the voices in rot and graven ash need armies to execute their will, Tunon wields but a modest court of vassals, We exist as the extension of his law. There's no place in all of Terratus beyond our judgment. Okay, tell me about... Ah, I've claimed the spire at Vendrian's Well. So the court's whispers are true. The Fatebinder rubs his fingers along the underside of his chin, pondering his thoughts with great weight. After a moment, he offers you a wistful sort of smile. Someday, I would like to witness for myself this tower that has risen above the realms like a blade thrust into the sky. I would like to hear of your past victories in the war or recent events. Have you not tired of my tales, dude? I do admit, I never tire of telling them, he laughs, hearty and deep. Very well, let me champion the feats of my conquest. Let the glory of Kairos reign, fall on any ears that would hear of it. I had a recent and inspiring exchange with a few brave men who had witnessed the old walls. In fact, I haven't enjoyed a spar quite so much in ages. Nearly felt ashamed to put them to the sword for their crimes.
Oh, wait, they had trespassed in the old walls.
Oh, trespass, sorry. Okay, well, that's it.
So he killed them for going to the old walls. So I think they know about the old walls. The Kairos and Tunon.
Yep. Here, let's talk to Seveus for a second. Okay, nothing. Let's go talk to...
Tunon. I hope he's not going to chastise you for choosing the for admonishing the chorus in front of him.
I don't think we had a choice.
Otherwise, you had to lie,
this
right?
Civil war, this feud, is an insult to Kairos' peace. It should not have taken the better part of a year to silence the last vestiges of the Oathbreakers.
I don't know if you should agree with him or if you should stay silent.
I agree. But Tunon regards you with thoughtful silence. Remember, I'm kind of like the loyal employee. So I agree, Your Honor.
Our allies squabble while our enemies regroup. It falls upon the court to measure the extent of the damage and to execute the agents of disorder. I suspect that treachery, negligence, disunity, and greed have infected one or both of our esteemed allies. Until you are instructed otherwise, this matter is the court's primary focus. Graven Ash and the voices of Nerat must be examined in close detail. You are charged with observing the Archons and presenting your case that one of them has wrought chaos and disorder upon the tiers.
Let's see. Could they both be guilty?
It's possible, but the momentum of the conquest up to this point suggests otherwise. The failure at Vendrian's Well implies a coordinated will behind the chaos. As always, you will be held accountable for what you do in the court's name. But you are free to conduct your investigation in the manner of your choosing. You must expect lies, misdirection, and manipulation. Suffer not such obstructions of justice. The disfavored seem the logical first step in your inquiry. The Legion holds you in some esteem, and Graven Ash has shown deference to the court in times past. No doubt the disfavored will be rife with accusations and evidence against the voices of Nerat. Graven Ash is a noble man, but never underestimate his capacity for deception. A wise general succeeds by knowing when to be unreadable to the enemy. You should, of course, speak with the Scarlet Chorus and gather their testimony. But it stands to reason that most in the chorus would sooner brag about a pauldron fashioned from your skull than entertain your questions. Do not regret killing the rabble that impede your investigation. They will be easily replaced.
Let's see, 1, 2, or 3. So I'll speak with the Archon of War. If Graven Ash were guilty, I'd imagine all his soldiers would lie for him, or interrogating the Scarlet Chorus seems an expedient move. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of just leaning.
Do you want to speak with the Archon of War?
Yeah, let's do that. I'll speak with the Archon of War.
Your fellow Fatebinders have been busy acting as my eyes and ears. I have a few leads for you to follow. You should, of course, speak with your brothers and sisters of the court if you need further counsel. The disfavored have made use of the Sage's network of dovecotes and messenger birds as they come under capture. I've heard multiple claims of strategic communications gone missing. The Sages are broken, their citadel in flames, but they were not slaughtered to the last. Some of their numbers still congregate around the smoking husk of their burning library. If they have been reading disfavored communications, learn what they learned, then execute them. There is a final matter to discuss. A sensitive topic.
Though it is impossible to gauge from his expression, Tunon seems more wary than usual. What concerns the court, Your Honor?
In spite of the many shortcomings at Vendrian's Well, you managed to make a name for yourself. You proclaimed an Edict of Kairos, resolved its demanding conditions, and ascended the mountain spire. Any one of these feats would be worthy of recognition by the highest authority. You managed to accomplish 3.
1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, the last one just seems cocky.
I'm leaning for number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I was only doing my job, Your Honor.
Your sense of obligation to your role is admirable, but modesty will not recommend you to the task ahead. Whether by design or by accident, you have captured the attention of Kairos' army and the local tiersmen alike. This is no small opportunity, and the court charges you with exploiting your new standing to its fullest potential. You have a title in our hierarchy. However, it's a little-known secret that one's standing in the world is determined by their infamy, their deeds, and how they come to be known. Mind this notion as you bring justice to this lawless frontier. There may come a time when your deeds speak for you louder than any title. Whatever you did to capture the attention of the masses at Vendrian's Well, I would encourage you to do so again.
Understood. I'll be known as a champion of justice. Justice!
Chaining chaos to my will or great deeds will define me.
Yeah, I think number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like the thing to make him happiest anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Good. It falls to us to set a new standard for these southern barbarians. You are dismissed. Should the court have need of your presence, you will receive word. Go forth and do my bidding, and bring glory and honor to the tiers in Kairos' name.
Tunon raps his gavel against the floor, the singular note resounding throughout the hall. And he poofs back. Hey. Okay. So I don't think we have much to do with him.
So we just have quests, but this does mean you might be able to go south.
Mm-hmm.
I'd emulate you right now where you stand.
Fatebinder, you're no stranger to Tunon's court, but I prefer if you spend as little time here as possible. In spite of these closed walls, I feel strangely exposed. Glances up at Tunon. Fair warning, when you backed Ash, you were as good as signing your death warrant. But we shouldn't discuss such matters in a court of law. You'll make our time in the tiers an interesting one, won't you? He smiles an uncomfortably long time. Of course you will. You gave me something during the conquest. Tidecaster elders to interrogate. Now I'll give you something in return. He whispers an arcane symbol in your ear, one that you won't soon forget.
He gave you a... What is it called when you...
Sigil of Emotions. It's a spell core.
Oh. Why did he give that to you?
Because I gave him a sage to interrogate.
Oh.
So Sigil of Motions, if we combine it with Channeled Strength, for example, Wave of Despair reduces their move speed, gives them fatigued and dazed. So I can... Oh. This is a little bit of damage, but Taunted Affliction. It doesn't tell me what Taunted does necessarily. Taunted. Forced to attack the Taunter. So I'm actually going to assign that to him.
Nice.
Let's see, what's this? Enraged Mind. Enraged Affliction.
So that's essentially what that one guy had done to kill the disfavored. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you want to enrage your opponents, or is that enraging yourself?
I don't know. But if we give them this, At the very least, I'll give her these two AoEs. These are the, actually, no. Crippling Coil is kind of useless. Withering Cloud? Ooh, hi. Weakened and silenced. Okay, that's actually pretty damn good. You know what?
Do you have any accents you can add to that?
No, it's too expensive.
Okay.
I'm actually going to throw that instead of crippling, because weakened makes them weaker, and silence makes it so they can't cast spells for like 15 seconds. That's damn good. That's something that we can use for later. Unfortunately, my lore hasn't gone up in a while, so we're a little bit limited there. Okay, I want to go back and take a look at this. We haven't talked to Aurora or Albatronus, and they might have gifts for me. Like such.
Fatebinder. The lieutenant gives you a curt nod. I'm ill at ease in this polished hall, but I admit that it's a reprieve from the battlefield and training grounds. If Ash needs me to stay here and represent his interests throughout the occupation, then I'll be up to the task.
Nothing. Oh well.
Yeah.
Well, we're good. I mean, we got some goodies. We got a little bit more freedom. And we might have another quest bit.
Whoa, is
hello.
that the Shadow Dude?
Ah, it is.
It is Bleden Mark.
Welcome back, kid. Amusing as it would have been to watch the edict drop, I guess I'm glad you lived. Bleden Mark, Archon of Shadows, rouses from a faraway stare, turning to face you with a wry smile. Though he stands still, he seems to sift in and out of the shadows that surround him. Here you threw your rings on Graven Ash's side. Not a bad bet to pick the Archon of War. But to tell the truth, did you go with Ash because it seemed like the right thing to do, or because supporting the voices was the worst option?
So you have Graven Ash was the more capable warlord. Our lives depended on military success. I wasn't about to hand control over to the Archon of Secrets. What sane creature would trust the voices of Narot, glare silently, or what's up to... what's it to you, Archon of the Elderly?
I'm doing that one. What's it to you, Archon of the Elderly?
What are you doing? What are you
Dude,
doing?
he totally is just... He called me kid. If he's calling me kid, we're making fun of him back.
Are you sure he's going to take it
I
well?
don't know, but it seems like it. So what's it to you, Archon of the Elderly?
You've gained favor with him.
Oh,
He
that
likes-
hurts. Almost as much as getting your fingernails ripped out. No, wait. Sorry, not even close. Were you aiming to wound me with that? Now, I assume you're off to meet with Ash, but first, you and I need to have a little talk. I'm listening. Everyone's keeping an eye on you, because you did something nobody else has done before. Got a guesses what that might be?
To engage in a war with an ally of soldiers, proclaim 2 edicts, to resolve an edict before the consequences came to pass, awaken the spire of the old walls. Well, you're not the first for canceling an edict, because that's happened twice before. I'm the first person to take an evasive stance against your rhetorical questions. Let me guess, I'm the first Fatebinder Kairos has decided to promote to some position of authority. Don't glare at him silently.
No. That's just where my cursor fell. Too many things.
I mean, number 5, is that the response you would give for the last question?
I mean, honestly, I think at this point I'm not super interested in number 5.
Okay. Aspire. Awaken Aspire. I'm the first Fatebinder to awaken Aspire on the old walls.
Sure. Number 4. You're not wrong. That was definitely a shock, but I doubt it's the sole reason you've made the tears tremble. Proclaiming an edict isn't new, neither is surviving or resolving the commandments of an edict, but you're the first to proclaim and resolve the very same edict, and it didn't kill you. In one fell swoop, you survived your second edict, resolved the very one you had proclaimed, and woken an arcane structure that had slept for several centuries. And now I go on your short list of people who stand out as potential problems?
Or why are you telling me this? Did I do something wrong?
Sure. So why are you telling me this? Did I do something wrong? Calm down, kid. This isn't a list of charges. He thumbs the blade of a dagger and grins. Prosecution isn't part of my job description. Executing a judgment, well, that's another matter. I don't care what you do with the information, but You should know the danger you're in now that you've put yourself on the map. Sticking with the disfavored is a smart idea, kid. At least, smarter than getting mixed up with the Archon of Secrets. You'll never really be one of them. But if you value Ash's warriors, they'll serve you the best they can.
Okay.
Until the next. He's about to poof out.
Yeah.
Until the next. The Archon of Shadows shrugs to you in farewell, but his golden eyes are alight with interest as he watches you. Guess he didn't poof out. Well, whatever. Alright, so we can go back to the Sunset Spire, but we've already cleared
But
that.
Iron Hearth, or Hearth, is the...
Yeah, Iron Hearth is the place that we want to go. And probably will go. I don't think there's anything in the Mountain Spire we want, so...
Well, you can't get any more money, so...
Yep. Adventure, loading screens,
La-da-da-da-da.
travel time for...
1 day, 2 days...
It's
like-
4 days total.
Whoa.
I'm just glad we don't have a time limit anymore. I hate time limits in video games. Ooh. Oh, right, because this is the Edict of Storms. That's why everything looks awful around here.
Yep.
Keep expecting the loading... Oh, wait. Nope. It was short. Ooh, fancy.
Yep, so it looks like the disfavored are camped out everywhere.
And there's small amounts of lootsies. I still want to go back to the previous place. I mean, we already got the spire, but I still want to get in those walls. Oh, well.